Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Doud here, and hey, I'm back. And would you listen to that? I'm back. And no thanks to my idiot insurance company or idiot doctor, this is 100% me, because you know when this has happened a half dozen times before, I kind of know how to fix it. Not that I'm bitter or anything. You frickin' morons. But let's not dwell. Programming note, there's only a 50-50 chance that there will be a podcast and newsletter tomorrow, and by 50-50 I mean more like 20%. Like if something major happens today, we'll talk tomorrow for sure. But come on, we've already had Pablo Escobar's folding phone, Google founders stepping down, and Qualcomm's Hawaii event, so any more news this week and my head might explode. Oh, and speaking of Qualcomm, it is December 5th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. Qualcomm is hosting its annual Here's Our Next Phone Processor event in Hawaii, and folks, I gotta ask a favor. Tell your friends about Digit Daily Podcast. Leave reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, anywhere you can. We need to make this podcast big enough so that I can broadcast to you from Hawaii. It's either that or I have to start a GoFundMe page, and honestly, I like my odds better on the podcast. Of course, the time zone means that I'd have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to get the podcast out on time, so it's honestly a mixed bag. Anyway, Qualcomm introduced its Snapdragon 865 and 765 processors. The 765 also comes with a 765G variant for gaming phones. Now here's where things get interesting. The 865 does not have an integrated 5G modem, but it will require that manufacturers purchase a 5G modem to go along with it, or Qualcomm won't sell it. Basically what that means is that most flagship phones in 2020 will have 5G hardware. Whether or not it's turned on remains to be seen, and I can't honestly tell if I'm excited by this or not. It seems Qualcomm is going to drag us into a 5G world, even if it has to do so kicking and screaming. Because, folks, the networks aren't there yet, but that's a discussion for another podcast. Now, the exclusion of an integrated modem is somewhat of a controversial move. Qualcomm says it doesn't want to take up valuable chip real estate and heat generation with an integrated chip. Besides, they'll happily sell you a modem, so, no big deal. As for that modem, the modems announced today increased download speeds from 5 gigabits per second to 7.6 gigabits per second, so instead of incredibly insanely fast, now it'll be incredibly insanely crazy stupid fast. So, win? Plus, the modem is more power efficient, heard that before, but that means better battery life on both 4G and 5G, so now you can have all the Gs! One last note, the Snapdragon 865 supports image processing speeds of up to 2 gigapixels per second, so just let that sink in for a second. And Qualcomm is also working with partners to release a 200 megapixel camera sensor, which will probably pixel bin down to 8 megapixels anyway. Companies have already signed on to use the new chips, Motorola, HMD, and Xiaomi among them. Plus, while not official, you can bet Samsung, LG, and HTC, if they ever make a phone again, and others will sport Qualcomm's latest and greatest. Xiaomi looks to be the first out of the gate with the Redmi K30, perhaps as early as next week. So, Qualcomm looks to be pushing 5G forward, whether the world is ready for it or not. We'll see if it turns out to be a good thing. But for now, it's time for the Roundup! Oh, TikTok, you silly, silly moron. TikTok admitted recently that it suppressed videos from disabled, queer, and overweight creators. Now, in fairness, TikTok says its heart was in the right place, or at least that's how they spun it. They said that moderators should flag videos from people who might be cyberbullied and get them less exposure to cyberbullies, which of course means less exposure to everybody else. But TikTok, that's not how this works. You need to address cyberbullying, yeah, but not by taking down content prone to bullying, but by punishing the bullies. Like, let's take all the fat kids out of school so the bullies won't have anyone to go after. Newsflash, TikTok, bullies will literally always find someone to go after. It's basically in the job description. And by the way, this wasn't the only TikTok stop on this Digit train, because TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is being sued for collecting data on kids and selling it to third-party advertisers. This breaks a fair number of laws around the world, including COPPA, or the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which states that companies cannot collect data on children without the parent's explicit consent, or they'll get sued. So guess what? They're getting sued. And speaking of children, more and more schools are installing what amounts to spyware on school-issued devices to keep an eye on what students are doing on and off school grounds, and students in particular are worried about it. Schools will claim that this software is used to protect the safety of students, but some studies suggest that the opposite is happening, and this software is breaking down trust relationships between students and schools. You think? So kids, here's a tip. If your device was given to you by a school, by a job, or by a parent, just assume that that entity can see everything you do on it, and that continues into adulthood. Everything can be monitored. It's just a question of whether or not they actually do it. So if you want to do something untraceable, go to a library or buy your own stuff. I'm trying to be sympathetic here. How am I doing? Well, holy crap, Craigslist has an app. It's iOS only for now because of course it is, but the website launched in 1995 finally got its own app just a hair short of 2020. Well done. I'm remote today, so I don't have an iOS device with me, so you'll have to see it for yourself, but I mean, just wow. Better late than never, I guess. Might have to go buy something or sell something or something. Plex is a video/music service that allows you to set up your own server at home and stream all of your pirated, legally acquired content to your devices for free. Well, Plex is plussing up their service with a free on-demand video service available right meow. Just install the Plex app on literally just about anything, phones, tablets, computers, Roku, everything, and you can start streaming movies with a surprising variety of good titles. I mean, it's got Bloodsport, folks. Bloodsport, and all its Van Damme goodness. The downside here is that the videos are ad-supported, so you'll have to sit through commercials placed at awkward intervals, like any other ad-supported video service, but it's free, so give it a look. And finally, if you're looking for a good long read, check out this piece on The Verge about electronics recycling and just how dirty, pun intended, that industry can be. It turns out that one of the leading electronics recyclers in the Northwest were not so much recycling as much as they were just shipping electronics off to be somebody else's problem. And we had such high hopes. So that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about digitdailypod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Doud, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Or Monday. I guess we'll just have to see.